So we're at the point that you've got a lot of gold. Did you guys load it onto the cart?
I thought we distributed it.
Let's say yes. I don't know if we got there. I think that we had just discovered the gold
It's
folk
in the
session.
party loot.
Then it must have been loaded onto the cart or into someone's pack.
Yeah,
Well-
chest of 2,300 gold pieces.
465 gold on my character sheets. Did we get? Oh wait, did we get gold from other sources?
Yes, we have gotten gold from other sources as well, like the.
I only got 70. What the fuck?
Then
That sounds like a you problem, to be honest.
We're getting gold. Ow!
We have a bunch of meat from the orc camp, the chest with 2,300 gold pieces, 60 javelins, 3 warg saddles, a bullseye lantern, 4 hides, a fancy orc tent with warm hides to scatter on the ground to keep us warm, and some orc beddings. Which probably smell of orc, but you know.
I've got multiple applications of prestidigitation. We could fix that
Exactly.
tomorrow. We could fix that tomorrow.
Yeah.
I gave up prestidigitation for mending because our druid keeps getting their armor destroyed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not great.
Wash him, have a laundry day.
At this point, I think we're trying to decide if we are burning the orc camp, leaving the orc camp, burning and leaving the orc camp. You know,
Not burning and sleeping in, setting up an ambush for the returning orcs in the orc camp.
No ambush.
Yay!
No ambush.
I don't think that we need to ambush them. Like, if we burn the camp, they're just gonna scatter. Like,
You don't
they've
think
got
that they'll come hunt-
they've not got like a point to be at.
You don't think they'll come hunting for revenge or turn into the dragon overlords? Be like, hey, look, this thing happened. Let's fix it.
I mean, I get the impression that this culture, just judging by what we've seen so far, if these orcs go and be like, hey, our camp got burned down and all our gold got stolen, they would probably get their asses kicked for incompetence.
Well, but if they get their asses kicked for incompetence, that's gonna be the dragon realizing, hey, someone stole 2 shipments of my gold.
Yes, and also the orcs may be aware of that and want to come after us. So,
But aren't they gonna chase us anyway?
very possible, yeah.
Yeah, but I'd rather them chasing us than a fucking mad dragon.
Also,
like
we're
a
going to be at
couple
a
of
serious
outriders, wasn't it?
disadvantage being overladen with gold in this heavy ass cart moving through the woods. They're going to catch us and we'll be at a disadvantage.
We could just bury the gold.
No.
I mean, what do we need it for exactly?
It's gold. What do you mean?
Okay,
I mean, gold
what?
can be a useful spell component. We might need to grind it into dust or whatever, but it's important to have at least some around. Maybe we'll find a town, or maybe it has some kind of bartering use if we ever find humanity.
I feel like we've been through this discussion before, and I'm gonna just skip to
Probably.
the part where we had. Let's just distribute it and each do what they want with their cut. If you want to throw it, throw it. If you don't want to throw it, keep it.
I mean, this is more gold than before. We could just bury it and come back for it.
Rend raises a finger and goes, I still have a bag of holding.
Bring.
I mean,
Alright, I guess we load it in. Question mark.
pour it into that, I guess.
Yeah, but how long is he staying with us?
I mean, I think that's a question for him. What do you think, bud?
My plan was, I was going to follow you to the ice elemental. I was going to see what was there, handle it with you fine fellows, and once we see how that gone, I was going to part ways with you, and based on how that goes, decide whether I trust you or not.
And if you don't?
Then we part ways, and I don't trust you.
You have our orb, though.
If yes, I'm going to give that back, hopefully to get my ring back.
Yeah, we've got his ring. It's a insurance thing.
If
Wait,
you're
what
still
ring?
deciding about whether you trust us, wouldn't you not tell us that you're deciding that you don't trust us?
That doesn't sound very trustworthy.
Conceptually.
It's a two-way street. I'm deciding whether I trust you, but you also have to trust me. This is I'm being open and honest here.
And if the trust fails, we can at least be respectful to one another.
Indeed. I don't have to. Just because I don't trust you doesn't mean I'm going to immediately kill you. It just doesn't mean I trust your motives. You still might be doing the right thing for the wrong reasons. I just might
Wait.
not trust your motives.
What makes you think that we can't kill you?
Wings? Not right now. No.
Why?
I am not up for a fight right now.
Well,
I mean, we couldn't we? If we really wanted, he's got no spells, right?
it
How
could
the-
go either way.
It really could go either way. Issue would be I don't know whose side I would be on, so
An issue would be I've got no interest in killing you. You've been a great asset to us thus far.
Well, that's very nice to hear. If it came to blows, I would probably just pop out a pair of wings and fly away rather than actually fight with you people.
See, that makes sense.
Good choice.
Still, the point remains, are we burning this place or are we just leaving?
Is that where we started? We're so far from that.
Yes, and I'm trying to get us back on track, because at the moment we are sitting on a cart in a devastated orc camp with outriders potentially on their way back,
We-
and we need an answer.
We don't get anything from burning it.
Did
Let's
we
just
have
go.
an idea of how many orcs are missing from the camp? I don't remember.
We
I think it was like 10. We had a number at one point, I believe.
I believe the problem is we all need a good rest.
Yeah.
I have no magic, everyone wants to sleep, but we're in hostile territory now. Now,
I
in
also
my
have no
opinion, the smartest thing to do would be to find something or somewhere secure. So if anyone has any ideas of how to do that, we're all ears. This orc camp probably isn't it, but it does have
Wait!
tents.
Wait, John, you have the special spell thingy. We can use that.
It's something that I can't cast yet.
Why not?
I could try. I don't
Yes.
know. Why can't you cast Wish? It's
what the fuck is wish?
it's one of the most ridiculous spells ever known to mankind. You've
Cool.
never
You still
heard
have
of
the
it?
scroll.
But
It-
Vren can use
I-
it.
I don't
Yeah.
have the scroll.
No, it's not a spell I can cast, which is why I had the scroll but couldn't use it.
Is it possible to learn this power?
I have learned it. I just can't make enough magic happen. Is there a way to force cast a spell outside of your levels? It's
Right,
been
but
transferred into
scrolls?
my spell book. It is in my spell book. It is
Uh.
no longer a scroll.
Yes,
Ren,
but you don't have the spell slots for it.
Friend,
That's correct.
I have a level of magical energy inside me greater than what I am normally capable of holding. Do you know of a way that I could transfer that power to John so that he could cast this spell?
Or
How
I
did
could
you
do the
get
same
it?
thing that you did. Kruok touched the orb that's here embedded in my staff, and I point to the necromancy orb because I think that's what did it, right?
It is, yeah.
Vren looks from Croc to John and then gives the uneasiest shrug, like, I don't know.
It also
mean-
almost killed them.
I have 9 hit points. This is gonna go well.
I'm a lot more sturdy than you, no offense.
Can you cast the spell?
No?
Can you? And I'm gonna hold out my spell book and show you the ritual. It's a stroganoff recipe. Can you decipher this and cast it?
No?
So I think
Look, I don't know how your magic works, but mine just kind of flows through me.
well, my magic works in a way that I organize the latent magical power of the universe, and through a series of
Sorry
rules
to
and
interrupt your fucking magic theory lesson, but we're kind of being chased by orcs and we're running out of time.
we're not chased insofar at the moment.
Hurry the fuck
Okay,
up.
no,
Do
no,
we-
we're definitely not being chased, because if you remember, I was sending my owl to find this party. And as far as my owl got, because I was searching through my owl for a decent period of time, didn't find them on the way out. So they're not on the way back unless they got past my owl.
What do you
So
mean?
they're not going to be here recently. We have time to sit down and have a conversation. What's in contention is if we have time to sit down and sleep.
I don't believe that we'll have
I
time
say
to.
we stay here because we have an advantage that we're defending a position rather than attacking it like we did
I mean,
earlier.
didn't
That's
really
what I'm
work out well
saying.
for the people that we attacked, did it?
But they're
But there's
dumb.
fewer of us, which could work to our advantage. They can't search every tent at once.
I think if we take a break, I can recover a little bit, and then I can try to use our resources to get access to the same level of spells that are temporarily beyond my capability, like Kruak has. And then I could cast our little hut spell and give us a nice safe place to sleep. Right wherever we want. I just don't know how bad that's gonna hurt. So I don't want to do it right now.
In theory, quite bad.
I mean, if you think you can take the punishment, Shaggy Man, that sounds perfectly fine by me.
You just call him Shaggy Man.
I've called him Shaggy Man a couple times.
Okay, who thinks that we should stop in this orc camp?
Me?
I halfway
I
raise my hand.
don't think it's the worst idea.
Okay,
So we got 2.5.
Al, opinions?
Listen, I've given up on planning at this point. Just
Fair enough.
The party
it'll
debated for the
end up-
next 4 hours until the orcs showed up. And we still
yeah,
haven't rested.
it'll end up with us fighting orcs anyway. So just do whatever the fuck you want, and they'll start like circling the perimeter of the camp, checking for like lights or orcs noises coming towards us.
All right, John's going to take a rest. He's going to start attempting to take a short rest. We'll be decisive on that at least.
I'm going to start trying to take a long rest because I don't get anything back on a short rest.
Yeah, same.
Remind me if this is a thing. We need to spend the hit die to be able to short rest. Yes.
Yes.
Cool. I have no resources until next long rest.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so how this actually translates is if you've ever worked a long day and are just physically exhausted at the end of that day, that is how you feel. Like you just don't feel like you've got anything left to give. Like there's no adrenaline left. There's nothing left in the tank.
That's me right
You're
now.
exhausted. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you guys get your heads done, and I'll keep an eye as usual.
Can we keep someone with you awake at all times, just for safety precautions?
I can keep the owls around me if you want.
Yeah, that checks out.
So, question. Lot of orc bodies around this camp.
And a Tanaruk.
What do you guys do with them? Well, the Tanaruk mostly turned to liquid because it is
Oh.
part demon, so it's a black sludgy mess now.
Is
I
that
mean, there
something
was
we
a
could
fire
drink?
going, wasn't there? Like,
Yeah, it's not a great idea. I know what you're thinking. It's not a great idea.
Let's actually move you guys back to the camp scene as we are resuming there.
You should
Is
put
this-
them on
this is-
spikes so they're deterred from joining.
Or we could eat them.
Ew.
Why would we eat? We have a fuck ton of like dried meat and stuff.
Oh, that's probably way better. Let's do that instead.
Yeah.
Slightly alarming how quickly your brain leapt to eat orcs.
Yeah, Vren is giving John a look right now.
Well, okay. So right now we don't have much, right? I mean, we got some resources, and this is technically fresh meat around us. So if we burn through this instead of our reserves of cured meat, we'd have more resources for longer. I'm just trying to be pragmatic.
Vren raises a finger, but then is cut off by a sickening crunch sound. You guys look to the
Oh.
source of it, and the guard drake is just eating
Yeah.
an orc's face, just
Well-
fully pulling off like face flesh.
He gets it.
we could just have a body tent.
A body tent?
Just
Yeah, I
call
mean,
it
I think that's the
body
smartest
dinner
thing.
tent.
Put them
Or
in
we
the put them in the
Mhm.
tent of the where the prisoner
Okay.
was.
Someone
If-
who's better at dealing with nature, correct me if I'm wrong, but wouldn't the smell of dead bodies attract predators?
That's
It's
precisely
still
what I was
fresh
thinking.
and it's cold. It's going to take a while for them to start smelling.
Definitely will.
Actually,
they're
isn't
already
it quite
dead.
above freezing right now because we're in the forest outside of the cold zone?
It's not quite above freezing. It's edging on above freezing.
Okay, so it'll still stay kept for a while.
Yeah. It's refrigerator level temperatures at the moment.
So we got a
So-
couple of days before it really starts to stink.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll start piling bodies into this fucking thing. Or
Yeah,
tent.
Krug will help.
Murder
Okay,
tent.
so you're piling all the bodies into one of the larger tents, the prisoner tent?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you rotate that horse? That just doesn't look comfortable.
I can rotate that horse.
Okay, that's better. Thank you.
How is that better? It's looking at the corner.
Oh no.
Okay, yeah, it works on Chrome fine.
Now it's in a tent. In this episode of How to Make Your DM's Life Hell, complain about where the horse is.
Ren has positioned the horse so it is warm in front of the fire because it's pretty cold. And the horse isn't moving right now, so it's much less likely to get sick if it's warm by a fire.
I mean, we could detach him from the wagon and just like tie him up somewhere, hitch him.
Are you saying you're going to do that night, or are you just suggesting to the party to do that?
I'm just making a suggestion, like, you know,
Hmm.
might be
Good
good
luck.
for him.
So you guys don't think putting their heads on spikes would be a good deterrent?
I mean, maybe once you've burnt the place.
I think it's one of the things that could go either way. It could deter them. It could send them into a blind, horrible rage.
That's a gamble I'm willing to take.
Some of you may die.
I mean, I'm
Wouldn't
not
that-
opposed to it.
Wouldn't that let the orcs that are coming know that we killed everyone here, though?
But if we're staying at the camp, they'll show up, they'll see their friends' heads and be like, "Oh shit, never mind," and they'll walk away.
When was the last
mean-
time you've seen an orc go, never mind?
I don't know.
They're orcs. They
No, I mean,
orc stuff.
she does bring up a good point. There is a good chance that if these orcs return to their camp, they will notice that something's not right, because when we arrived, there were orcs patrolling on the outside, which there won't be this time.
Yeah.
The orcs will find that unusual. But if they return and all the heads are on spikes instead, they may either choose to leave or think that we've already done something and left and just, go looking for us. Either way, we'll throw them into confusion and disarray. It could work.
It's just a thought. Intimidation. The
Yeah.
orcs respond to that, right?
Usually with violence.
But it's a response.
Have you guys ever seen Home Alone? What if we just string up all the corpse and have a party and like puppet them and make them think that the camp is still alive and well? So they come back and they're like, "Oh, everything's normal." They go to bed and we kill them in their sleep.
What the
What
fuck is
the
Home
fuck
Alone?
Is that
are
a
you
play?
saying?
Yeah, it was a play. You guys didn't see that at the Waterdeep Playhouse?
I'm 3.
And they've never been into a fucking city before.
I think I've seen that.
Oh. I'll just start chopping orcs' heads. I guess that's the consensus we're doing.
Okay.
I mean, we
with
do have
what?
60 javelins.
What are you hacking orc heads off with, Al?
First thing I see that looks like it can hack orcs' heads in my head. What? That's
Oh.
not a sentence.
I
The
don't
first
know,
thing
so-
that looks like it could chop orcs' heads off to me.
Right.
So I don't know, a sharp stone or something.
I mean, there's a lot of two-handed axes around.
I
Sure,
was
I'll
gonna
use
say, yeah.
those. I'm not very
There's-
proficient with them, but I'll use them.
There's also scimitars and a great sword in the party loot,
Well,
just like hanging out on the wagon.
No,
It-
that's
it-
too far.
It sounds like Al was reaching for just the fastest thing for chopping heads off possible. So he hefts a great axe and heads into the tent, and you
Yeah.
guys can hear like the dull, wet thudding of
Yeah.
weapon attack against meat.
And a
Yeah,
flute
while
playing
Al's doing,
peacefully.
While Al's doing that, Croc is gonna gather up some like sharp sticks and start like kind of embedding them in sort of like uh a line, I guess.
While Karak starts looking at the sticks, John's going to point to the absolute bundle of 60 javelins that we have that are pre-made weapons. You could just use those.
Could do. So if I just bury some javelins here.
Yeah, absolutely. You could bury some javelins. Al is chopping off some orc heads.
To the tune.
Knight is trying to get some sleep.
I'm
Indeed.
taking a short rest and reading through those books.
What's Fred up to?
Vren is tending to the animals. He is trying to get the horse fed and kind of just watching the guard drake eat an orc, which you guys dragged most of the orc bodies into the tents. The guard drake is in there just chomping away on a few of them. He seems to be very happy dining on orc flesh.
I imagine Vren is like perpetually facepalming with this group.
That's one way of thinking about it, and if that's John's impression of it, then fair enough. But Vren's been in other low-level adventuring parties, so no, this is sort of another Tuesday for him. Like, you guys' effectiveness in combat is having more of an impression on Vren than your ineffectiveness at planning, because as far as he's concerned, everyone is like this.
Yeah.
He's literally been in other adventuring parties when I previously was playing as a player with one of Kay's characters. So he's partied up with idiots before and seen them being very effective
Whoa.
and seen them be very ineffective. And he doesn't necessarily judge people based on how ridiculous the plan sounds, because sometimes the plan sounds absolutely ridiculous and then you try and it goes off without a hitch. So to him, it's less face palming and more, okay, we'll see how that shakes out.
Or you try and it fails, but you fail spectacularly through it.
Yeah, and some of the best plans ever thought out immediately fall on the first hurdle. So Vren is just like, it's less about how good the plan sounds and more about how well you pull together as a group. And you guys make a lot of foolish decisions, but obviously care about each other a lot. So there honestly isn't much animosity from Vren. Like, there's no face palming, there's no, oh, these fools. It's mostly just, okay, well, there's things that need to be done, so I am getting them done.
Yeah.
Right, so... Yes?
As Al is chopping off the heads, I'll use my mage hand to like pick them up and go bring them over to Croc.
Cool.
Okay, so... This tiny little sparkly thing, like a pair of wings, is lifting up decapitated orc heads and just flying them out of this tent over to you like the most adorable spectre of death you've ever seen, Croc.
Yep. Karak just happily takes an orc head and impales it on a javelin.
The tooth fairy, but
The head fairy.
a bit too far, you know.
The decapitation fairy.
And when your head falls off, leave it under a pillow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna pet the guard drake. I don't need. They've got that covered. It's fine.
Okay.
They've got an efficient, like, fucking.
Make
Work
me an
line.
animal handling check.
If it runs under the axe, it's not my fault.
Not good.
Oh.
It gets territorial over food while it's eating and snaps at you. It doesn't bite you, but it gets very growly and snaps at you. Like it's got a very different attitude when it's eating to when it's just gambling, like around normally.
I'll try again in like 20 minutes when he's finished.
Okay. So John, you are looking through books, yes?
Yes, particularly the books that Kruak had found in the tent that is to my back.
Mhm.
That didn't burn.
What languages do you speak?
Abyssal, Common, Draconic,
Perfect,
Primordial.
you can stop there immediately. So all three of these books are written in Abyssal.
Wonderful.
Hmm.
So you have a ritual book to summon and bind demons,
Oh.
Oh no.
Okay.
an orc's personal notes about dealings with demons,
Oh.
a third book that is about secret dealings with demons, antagonism with devils, and siphoning power from an imprisoned devil.
Oh. Okay.
That imprisoned devil is described as within this wood somewhere.
Oh. Oh.
You can choose a book to start researching first of those three. What would you like to start researching?
We're gonna start researching stealing power from a bound devil.
Okay. Perfect.
That feels like the safest one.
I'm sorry.
That feels like the safest one.
Which part of that sentence made you feel safe exactly? Is it stealing or
Bound.
that?
Bound. Bound feels safe.
Okay, fair enough.
Hmm.
I like that answer. You can make me either an Arcana or Religion check.
All right, let's take a look at those. We got a +6 and a +4. All right, advantage or normal? Actually, if I summon if I use my familiar to give me help, can I roll with advantage?
Does your familiar speak Abyssal?
My familiar is a spectral owl that is somewhere between Fey and owl. It's probably not.
No, didn't think so. So in this instance, I
No, you're good.
understand that it's being helpful to you, but it's not able to give you the help action.
It's emotional support owl over time.
So with a 16, very rapidly you find the position in the book that dictates exactly where this devil is held in this wood. You know how to get there from here. The fact that the devil is not willing in this arrangement, it is bound, it is trapped, and furthermore, that not one of these motherfucking orcs has let on to the paladins of Tiamat at all that any of this is happening. This is all
Damn.
completely off the books. Except it's literally in books.
We're all going to
Okay.
die fucking with the devil.
Is John laughing like that in the distance?
It's significantly more subdued. John, I would imagine, has like this half-cocked, wild-eyed grin that's mostly obscured by his overgrown beard, and he seems pleased with himself in what perhaps could be interpreted as an unsettling way, as a fledgling wizard who has discovered necromancy and is now reading books written in Abyssal that we found in a tent that was binding a demon.
Yeah, but is he laughing like that in the distance? We just hear that in the distance.
I would say it's more muffled. Like if there's any laughter coming from John, it's under his breath. It's not like I'm doing.
Sad.
Okay, so that's more sinister. Less
So-
Yeah.
audible, but more sinister.
Question that Al isn't gonna know out of character, but just for clarification for later. The Tanarug that we killed doesn't happen to be the devil that's bound somewhere in the woods, right? There is an actual full-powered devil somewhere here. Right?
I feel like that's information he's probably not going to give you.
Well,
That's
he just
information
read it.
That's information I can't give you for several reasons. Because John is in another tent reading about this stuff, and you are asking this question, and
Yeah,
it's
I tell John so I can understand later.
Spoilers, darling.
okay. What I will say to John is that John understands that devils and demons are different things,
Yep.
and Tamaruks are not devils; they are demons.
Cool. We're all gonna die.
Nah.
Oh man, this is information.
I'm fucking laughing like a maniac. It's bad enough already.
Anyway, so
Wonderful.
that's what John has found. So you guys are setting up a perimeter of orcs' heads on spikes.
Have I finished
Basically.
a short rest?
I believe a short rest in. No, actually, have I house ruled what the length of a short rest is in my game? Let me double
Yes, you've
check.
house
I think
ruled
it's
10 minutes.
10
yeah,
minutes
I think
rather than a
it's.
full hour, yes. So yeah, you would have got one.
I think if I remember, it had been at least in the past. I don't know about this game, but like 10 minutes the first time, and then an hour every time after that.
No, it's that the short rest happens within 10 minutes, but has a cooldown of an hour.
Mm.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so you can't stack multiple rests in an hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
So short rests take 10 minutes rather than a full hour. Short rest may only be completed once every hour, though you gain the benefits of them within the first 10 minutes as stated.
Gotcha.
Do you gotcha?
Gotcha.
Gotcha. Okay. We're gonna roll 2 dice. Oof. Rough.
Just gonna keep shoving orc heads on javelin.
And Luna, you're helping with the transport, not playing with your flute.
I am playing my flute while Al is chopping and then bringing the heads over to Karak when they are ready.
And
That
actually,
is-
Al seems very relaxed listening to music and chopping heads off.
That is unsettlingly cheery, considering everything that is going on.
Especially with John in the background chuckling to himself over the new power that potentially could be his.
Yeah, I've decided to invent a new alignment for this game, and it's chaotic. And all of you earn that alignment now. You're all fucking madmen, except Karak, who I
Yeah,
still
Karak's
think is
normal though.
vaguely neutral.
He's still like chilling. Sorry, they're still like chilling, like putting heads on spikes. That's like, you know.
Hmm.
So I've
I mean,
updated my character sheet.
Are they
to
like
chaotic
whistling at the same time? Like,
No.
like, okay,
no, they're just like it's being done for a purpose. They're not doing it out of malice. I mean, these are just corpses. That like it's not really a thing anymore. It's just
Also,
meat.
Croc reacted very aggressively to the orc chieftain, so they don't
Yeah.
like orcs.
When they were alive, Croc was a little bit
Yeah. You don't now that they're just meat, Croc, you don't get that feeling anymore.
yeah. Croc's just kind of like do. What's another one? Thank you. There we
No,
go.
yeah.
Oh,
Got a
damn
But
job
it.
to
they're
do.
meat?
Yeah,
That's a description.
like they ceased being orcs. They're just leftovers now.
Oh
Yeah.
jeez.
Leftovers in the fridge.
You're all
no.
in the fridge. Remember
It's
the
in the
temperature?
freezer. It's in the
To be fair,
freezer.
Yes.
Croc is just using them for a purpose at the very least, instead of just leaving them there. I mean, the purpose is Luna's pretty good plan, but still.
Okay.
It's worth a shot.
Yeah, exactly. And Croc agrees. Like Luna sold Croc on the idea. It makes sense.
And
So
I
if we're back
didn't
around
even
to
have to
John.
persuade. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, we're never gonna recover from that.
What? Hello?
I don't. Hello? What's
Hello?
going on?
Hello.
I don't know.
I-
Basker was saying
Basker
something.
started saying something and then just stopped.
Yeah, Les
Oh,
told
yeah.
him to go ahead, and then we just sat in awkward silence waiting for him to continue.
I didn't realize that I was the one that was being told to go ahead. My
Yep, it
apologies,
was you.
everyone.
It's okay.
Go ahead, Basker. God.
So now that John's recovered a little bit, he's going to like slide his staff down to his ankles and like with the necromancy orb like in front of his face while he's leaning down against the tent. And he's going to grab a hold of the necromancy orb with his bare hand, attempting to gain access to spell slots that he wouldn't ordinarily have access to.
Okay, I will ask you exactly the same question I asked Karak for fairness. How much of this do you let in?
Since I don't remember how it was phrased when Kruak had gone through this, what does it feel like?
I think that's exactly what they asked.
Yes,
How
because
did
I
I
do not
describe
remember.
this last time?
I don't know, cue up the video and watch it.
like,
Did I just get a Google it bitch from one of my players?
Effectively.
Basically,
I mean, it was more directed at John than you, if I'm honest.
I
Both
don't
of
remember
you.
what episode it was in and at what time, so that would be
Yeah.
very inefficient.
Okay, so here's the thing. John casts magic that is him directing the energy of a universe to a certain shape. And that feels a certain way. And I'm going to describe it with an analogy where it feels like you are standing at a beach and it is the tide coming in over your toes. This feels like a tsunami. And you can see it cresting over the horizon right now. And I am asking you whether you stand there with your arms open, or whether you turn and run, or whether you're a bit indecisive between those two.
I'm going to brace myself against the falling tide, standing firm.
Okay.
Catch that wave, Sib, bro.
Because I have
Great,
fucked
the
with this
Sib
lay
that's
energy
happening.
before.
So this is going to be a Constitution saving throw.
All right, we are not good at those.
Nothing can go,
Um,
nothing can
Oh!
go wrong.
I'm going to use my reaction to add 5 to that, so it's an 8.
What?
It adds 4 to that, so it's a 7.
A whole 7.
John
Yeah.
never did come out of that tent.
True!
Okay.
He certainly went in, but it wasn't him that came out.
Can my
So-
owl help me with the saving throw?
No. No, I'm sorry. Okay. Let's hope you survive. Okay, you take 16 points of necrotic damage.
Okay.
Lucky.
Thank God for the short rest.
You guys, can you guys see my health bar?
Yes.
Oh.
You gain half that in temporary hit points.
All right.
And you gain 2 third-level spell slots, and the rest of your spell slots are restored.
Oh, shit! Oh.
Yes, that's right on the edge. This could have gone very badly for you.
Ooh.
So we know John's gonna try this trick again at some point.
Oh god, yeah.
I mean, he's very lucky that he's not in that tent dying in death saves and we don't even know about it, right? So, like,
I'm not in the tent. I'm
Oh, you're
leaning
not in the
against the
tent?
outside of the tent. No, I wanted to catch some of the warmth from the fire.
I mean, like, how long would it be until we realize that, like, the little quiet manic laughing has stopped and he's just
Yeah.
died? Like,
Hours.
Yeah.
It would have been hours.
it's like white noise. You just like don't even realize it stops. Like,
I like to imagine that you guys just leave with them. Like you get halfway through the forest, like, oh shit, where's John?
he's like
Just-
overdosed in the corner. Fuck.
Just
Overdosed on
neat-
necromancy.
a neat little pile of dust.
I believe overdosing on necromancy is called a lich.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, we're not there yet. So if anyone's paying attention to John at this point, following Blaze's analogy with like the tidal wave, the tsunami of necromantic energy that washed over him, it's gonna be like, in my mind, John is hit with like a psychic wave, like all of his clothes, like his hair are blown back, and like his skin starts wrinkling like the guy from Raiders of the Lost Ark when he starts like touching the Holy Grail, and he just starts like dissolving into dust as the energy washes over him to the point where like he gets all the way down to flesh and bone before it begins to stop like affecting him, and then John starts to come back into a color that vaguely resembles life.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that if anyone is watching, you grasped the orb, I believe you described.
Yes.
And you're at the point where, like, it's the point of no return, and you would have crossed over into looking basically dead, like a mummified corpse standing up, where you finally manage to part your hand from the orb. You physically have to, like, jerk it away. And you didn't do a very good job. Like, your hand is very bony, like black veins, necrotized, paper thin looking skin.
Yeah, heavy breathing from John. He's
Mhm.
like, it looks like he's at death's door. He's panting, he's sweating, he is all sorts of rough looking.
How's my ink blade reacting if I like look over my shoulder while I'm trying to pet the drake? Like witnessing all
Hungrily.
that. Okay.
Because it expresses things to you mostly in thoughts and feelings and vibes, and it's looking at a full meal right now, and it is hungry. It's okay. I'm gonna give you the analogy of it's your 3-year-old cousin, and you just walked past a McDonald's.
Oh no. No.
Translation: the Black Blood Blade thinks John is thick.
He is
His
pulsing
vibes are
with
hungry,
magic
his
and is
tasty.
really weak. Like, it's the perfect time to strike. And again,
Oh.
I'm explaining to you, this blade is not influencing you at all. It
Yeah,
is
yeah.
just telling you these things.
We've got John at home. Well, I'm gonna push that to the back of my mind and keep trying to pet the drake like I didn't see anything. Like,
Yeah, you look down and notice that you're petting the drake like too hard, and it's like flattened itself against the ground to try and brace from your petting. It's not necessarily backed off because it's not a creature that like is about that, but it's flattened itself against the ground and is trying to like brace against your petting.
in Draconic, I say sorry, and I just keep petting him normal.
Hold
Okay.
on, do we know the knight spoke Draconic?
No.
I think
No,
we know
I don't
now.
believe we did.
I was not aware of that, no.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, John's coming back from death, so he definitely doesn't notice it.
Mm-hmm. All right, so that took a hot sec for you to do the research and then do that. So I'm going to say, Al, Luna, Croc, you're done with the head mounting now. There were only so many orcs to chop the heads off of. All the heads are off and are mounted around the camp, however you want to position them.
Wonderful.
I'm gonna go back to practicing my flute.
Okie dokie.
Croc is just going to tell everybody to get ready to sleep if they want to.
Yay.
I'll be back in just a sec, sorry.
So you're not you don't know any music yet, Luna, but you're not doing that thing where you're blowing through the instrument badly and like half playing notes. You're playing just like random notes, but you're holding them and they sound kind of like tuneful, and then just moving on to the next note. So it's not like there's music playing, but it's not grating or horrible. It's just kind of like, oh, nice little like toot sounds.
I do know some songs from like living in the cities and stuff, but I'm not
But you
necessarily
don't.
trying to play one of those. I'm trying to kind of
Yeah.
invent my own thing right now.
Well, you might know the songs, but you don't necessarily know how to match up the notes because you're kind of figuring it out at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, so Vren is still just checking through everything, making sure everything's okay. Did the party accept Vren saying we should just put all the gold in my bag of holding? Was that actually confirmed or not?
No, I want mine. Fuck off.
The knight doesn't care. Like, outright.
Right. So, how much gold would Al be taking? Because Vren's not going to take any of it until everyone's taken what they see as their share, and then he was just going to dump the rest in the bag of holding.
John's gonna grab 25. I assume this is beforehand, before John fucking almost eats his soul in the
Yes,
ritual.
absolutely.
Okay. So yeah, John's just gonna take 25 to round about to 100.
Okay. Al, how much are you taking?
Hold on. That's a good idea. I'll take 45.
Okay. So 25 and 45, 70?
How do you only have 100 gold?
Yes.
I am genuinely impressed.
Okay, so I'm
There's nothing to
editing
spend it on.
the party loot to say a chest of 2,230 GP, just to make sure that like money isn't being generated out of nowhere.
Kruk is happy for Ren to take their share, such as it is.
Well, Vren hasn't talked about, just in case anyone is unclear, Vren hasn't talked about taking this money. Vren has only talked about storing this money in his bag of holding. He's not claiming ownership of it.
No, that's
But
more
if
what I
you
meant.
guys are abandoning it, he would take it.
Like, Kruk is of the opinion that we split it evenly, but
Mhm.
Kruk is like the last lot of their gold. Kruk is giving it into Vren's care.
Yes. Right. With that decided, what is John doing now? John has completed this interaction with the orb and is looking as he is looking.
John is gonna fight to stand up and like heavily leaning on his walking stick. John is going to walk in this direction towards the tent. And then he's just going to let out a raspy. So, I think I can do this spell now. We should have a safe place to sleep.
Has he always looked like that, or the look to wings?
No? John, what happened? You look like shit.
I used the orb. And he fights to like catch his breath.
Well, I was going to say, you look very frail, but those temporary hit points, do remember to take them into account because you are full of necromantic energy. So you feel like shit, but you're not like tired and struggling to stand up.
No, I always thought of temporary hit points as more of like a luck barrier, not like a vitality or constitution thing.
It's not reflective of your physical health, but it is something like magically sustaining your body. So imagine it like being exhausted but having a few cups of coffee. Like imagine that as temporary hit points.
It's adrenaline.
Sound like a
Because-
JoJo stand
I mean, you
user
can still
right
feel
now.
shit on coffee, like you know.
Completely drained but swag walking.
You know what? Yeah, sure, yeah. If that's the way you want to think of it, but it's not necessarily a luck barrier. Temp hit points are usually like a thing that just isn't reflective of the health of the body.
Gotcha.
Anyway,
you
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
You definitely look a little bit frazzled. Smarts a bit, doesn't it?
It and he starts to get a little bit more full of himself since God told him how he was feeling. It not great. It definitely wasn't awesome, but it was also incredibly awesome. You know, like his eyes have like a fire behind them, even though they're like 2 inches deeper, sunken into his face.
Be careful not to overdo it, Shaggy Man. You know what they say about bright flight.
I know exactly
bright flames. Yeah.
what they say about bright flare.
I mean, kind of looks like you already went too far.
No, I'm still standing, so it hasn't been too far yet.
Oh my god.
True.
Yeah, I mean, he's not dead. Just, take it easy.
Yeah, not that is good. It's definitely time for sleep, though. Although, and like, I do feel wonderful.
You have an interesting definition of wonderful.
I
Yeah, I agree with
feel
Al on that.
powerful.
Powerful?
But
Okay.
I feel frail.
I
Okay.
mean, lightning is powerful. It doesn't mean it feels good to subject your body to it. Be careful.
Yes.
You not built to handle these things.
No,
So, like, are
but
you strong enough to cast the spell, though, if you're frail?
yes. I'm
Okay.
strong enough to do plenty of things that I wasn't strong enough to do this morning.
Okay.
Huh.
Is it just me, or is he starting to get a little creepy?
It's fine, just do the spell.
Where do we want to do it? Because once it's down, we can't move from where we are. At least I can't. You guys can come and go as you please, but I have to stay.
In the big empty spot over there?
So you want to do it in the camp?
I thought that was the plan. We're staying here until the orcs come.
All right.
I mean, what does this
Mhm.
thing look like when you do it?
When I cast the spell, or is Kruak asking what it's going to look like?
Drake is asking what the resulting spell, what will the appearance of it be?
It'll be a big dome of energy that I can camouflage to in a single color, make it sort of look like the surroundings. So it can be a big rock. It could look like a brown rock. It could any color, but it's going to be a dome basically.
Technically, you could put it in the tree line,
I
cover
could.
it with some foliage.
Would
I
it
could-
fit inside one of the tents, perhaps?
The big tent, yeah.
Okay, the
Was-
problem there with my thinking is put it in the tree line, cover it up, camouflage it a bit. That way we can watch the camp. Well, I can watch the camp while you lot sleep, see what the orcs do. If they find us, then, well, whatever. It would be the same if we did it out in the open or in a tent. But if they don't, they might bugger off and then we don't have to worry.
What I'm thinking about, in line with that, Kruak, and John's going to half stumble, half confidently walk over to like the edge of the camp where these bigger boulders are, is I set it here and make it the same color as the boulder so it looks just like another rock. And then we can keep an eye on everything.
If it's possible, I mean, can they see us inside it?
Not if I remember the spell correctly.
Ah, well, that's a gamble.
I have a pretty good memory.
So
Okay,
the way
but-
the spell works is it's opaque when you're on the outside looking in. It's transparent when you're in the inside looking out.
Okay, but will it look like a rock or will it look like a perfectly formed half dome?
Well, these are orcs we're talking about, so it'll probably look like a rock to them, but it will look like a perfect dome.
Can you make it look like a tree?
Yes,
No.
the people that spend all of their time in the wilderness don't know what rocks look like.
Well, they're not renowned for their intelligence, Kruak.
Could you make it look
Generally
like a
speaking.
tent?
I think your egotism is starting to get in the way of this plan.
I think
I
you
don't
two
know. Last
arguing
I
is getting in the way.
underestimated these orcs. I went down.
Okay.
We could put it in a tent, but then we wouldn't be able to see them approach and their activities.
But they
I
also
can't
wouldn't
make it
be able
look
to see
like a
us.
tent. It'll be a perfectly smooth barrier.
Is the tent going to look weird?
I assume the tents are over 10 foot, like the bigger tent here in the middle. It's definitely over 10 foot. It would encompass the dome completely.
Being that I just measured it, yes.
Well, we could cut holes in there if we can see out and nothing can see in. You could
Well,
make
that's-
the dome perfectly black, and we could cut holes in the tent so we could see out.
Which is all
We
fine and well until they
do that
open a
as well.
tent and walk into a dome.
Yeah, well, they won't be able to get through, and I don't think the
Well, they're not
biggest
gonna be-
vulnerability is magic, and I don't think they have spellcasters. So the dome would be safe until morning.
I understand what you're saying, but there is no difference between putting it in a tent, putting it in the middle of the camp, or trying to pass it off as a boulder, because either way, they will accidentally or deliberately discover it. Put it in
Wasn't
the
there a
tree
tent
line,
full
there's
of
a
stuff?
chance they'll just walk past it.
Well, if they bump into it and think it's a boulder, it'll just feel like a boulder.
Wait, are we trying to hide? I thought the plan was we kill the orcs.
We need to rest.
Well, we need to rest, and the more effective the ambush depends on the better your concealment.
I'm saying if we're trying to hide, we should do it properly. If not, we should just be out in the open.
I didn't even realize we were trying to hide.
I feel like we can accomplish both.
If you can make the dome look like a giant pile of laundry like that one tent.
We could cover it with something. I can't make the dome look like laundry.
Yes, if we make the tent look like a giant pile of laundry, they will never touch it.
They won't walk into it.
All right, so what are you setting up, John?
I don't think we've reached a consensus.
Croc has voiced their opinion. It's up to you guys what you do with that.
Does anyone else have any input, or is it just me and Kruak on this?
I mean, the only input I'm going to put in is that the horse isn't going to fit in this. And the cart isn't going to fit in this.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yes, you are correct. We could put the horse and the cart in the big tent.
Didn't the horse and the cart belong to paladin people? They'll just think it was paladin people that came and ransacked their place.
But they already know we have it. That's why they went out to ambush us.
No, the people that know that we have it died. And then the orcs sent somebody to figure out what happened to the people who died.
But it was the same camp.
It was the same camp, but I mean, they don't share a brain. They're not
Yeah, but,
hive-minded.
like you're like you when you have a plan, you tell it to people so they know what's going on. That's how.
Well, yes. So the plan was, hey, these people are out here scouting. They never came back. Go figure out what happened to those people. Not, oh, those people that were scouting got killed by a bunch of people that had a horse and cart. Go find the people with the horse and cart.
We were specifically waiting to ambush us. The chieftain was there. It wasn't a scouting party. They even gave a signal with the lights before we made it into the forest. It was. I didn't get the impression. I've never seen a chieftain go out on a scouting party of anything. They were well organized. They definitely had a target on us.
They did indeed.
So where do we want the dome? In a tent? In the tent with the horse? Out here is a rock? Or in the tree line?
I think, honestly, from my experience with us so far, just put it out. They can see it. They know we're here. They come to fight us. We fight. It's the only thing we know how to do. Or
We
I
can
know
also
how.
use the dome as cover. You guys just want to have me in the fight.
Well, no offense, but you don't look like you're in a very good shape to fight. So I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily.
I can't disagree at this moment.
How long does the dome last?
8 hours. But
Cool.
I can make it last 16.
Cool. So, and he does air quotes. Plan is we fight. The dome is there. Shit goes bad. We hide in the dome, sleep, wake up, continue fighting. They
Yeah.
can't come into the fucking dome.
No,
Yeah.
they can steal the horse and cart if you retreat into the dome, but it is better than dying.
I mean, do you really care about the horse and cart that much?
I mean, it's making things significantly easier. Maybe not necessarily as we get into the denser brush.
It has proven useful for the moment.
And it has all our shit on it.
We did risk our lives for that horse and cart.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, and we got a shit ton of gold and a good amount of rations for it. It got us this far, but if it's either stay
Well-
alive or keep the cart,
The gold and the rations are on the cart. So if we
we-
lose it, we're back to where we were.
we have
Okay, what about this?
time.
Put the cart in the tree line, camouflage it a bit with some foliage, put the horse in one of the tents so it's warm, go in the dome, see what happens.
Done.
I like it.
Sure.
With this group of people, the simpler the better, I'm finding.
Okay, pick the tent that the horse goes into.
Big tent.
We're fairly sure that the Outriders are coming from the south, right?
Yeah, we did. So
Yeah, we came from like over here.
Yeah, I think like this tent then.
Okay.
Right.
That's
Nice and out of the way. Like it's
That-
less.
that's like a 2-person tent. I don't think a full horse is gonna fit in that.
Okay, big one then.
Which big one? Is that not
Central.
the leader tent that you described having taken down at the start of the session?
Was that the fancy one?
Yes.
Well,
Yes, yes, it absolutely
one?
was.
This one looks big enough, right?
Did we get round to taking it down?
Yeah,
I
thought
believe
we did
it was
this
described that it was taken down, and I said to put it in party loot.
and we've had it in party loot ever since last session. So
Yeah, and fancy orc tent and lots of warm hides to scatter on the ground to keep us warm. Orc beddings is all in party loot. So yes, it was absolutely taken down.
I put them at the beginning of this session.
shrug.
Right.
I
Well,
mean, this tent is okay. We don't have a.
It's a 10-foot
problem.
radius based off the squares, but the measure feature is going off the center, so it's not working out right.
yeah, that
I'll do it for you. Hang
the
on.
horse fits in the round tent. It's a bit of a weird fit, but it fits.
You know, you can set the measure tool to not snap, right?
He did.
If you just hold shift, right?
Oh.
No, there's a
Or
little
Alt.
literal button.
There's
When you-
literally a button.
When you hover over the ruler, it says snap to corner, snap to center, or no snapping.
That's a 10-foot
Oh,
dome.
yeah, that's right. That's right. You've done it.
I wish I could just tell it that I wanted a 10-foot radius and I could put a plop on the map. That'd be
I believe
nice.
we had exactly that discussion last session as well.
Probably.
We did.
There are things that we want that we're never going to have. Also, my circle was fine. Get your darker gray circle out of here.
Wow. All right. I'd love to, but I actually can't select it. So
It actually looks
Beautiful.
quite cool with the two different colors, to be honest.
It's
Okay,
opaque
so
on
you-
the outside, transparent on the inside.
That is
You
true.
put the horse in a tent. What was being done with the cart? You're putting it in like the brush.
Yeah.
Preferably before we remove the horse, and preferably like over here, away from where the orcs are coming from.
yeah.
Yeah. I was actually thinking like further away from the orcs.
Okay.
Or where we assume the orcs are going to be coming from.
So who is hiding it in the brush?
Crackwell.
You can use stealth or survival, but make a check for me using one of those two.
If you're doing
You got it.
survival, I can help.
By the way, because it's winter, the brush isn't very brushy, so it's probably hard to camouflage.
We don't talk about weather here.
I live in
Might be-
Winterland!
Might be an evergreen
The
forest.
North Pole.
It could be evergreens.
It's
I
not
basically live in the
evergreens.
North Pole, yes.
Oh my god.
That might be
Um,
dramatic, but yeah.
Blaze,
fair
am I
enough.
okay to take the help action from Al?
Yeah, if Al's helping, absolutely, you can work
Need
together.
an offer.
Actually, I can help with both. Yeah, sure.
21. Yeah. The difficulty is like there's not much brush, but you do find enough like snow that you can just powder up and toss over it that it all kind of looks the same texture. It's now just wood surrounded by wood, powdered with snow.
Mm-hmm. Jolly.
Is this where you're setting up the dome?
That's where the circle is. No one. We didn't come to a consensus, and it was dome
Yeah,
time, so I just threw
Literally,
it down
the
there.
plan was leave it in the open and let's just see how it goes. Cool.
Luna,
So
are you trying to direct the guard Drake?
Yeah.
Okay. He will
I'll
he will
just-
follow you into dome.
fucking kick it into the dome.
No! He's a good boy. He helped us last fight.
I didn't see it.
Yes. Al,
He-
when you finish putting the cart away because you were busy with Krark, the guard Drake is already in the dome, ushered by Luna by the
Really
time
gonna
you get
fucking
there.
kick it in there. I was kidding.
I'm just saying, timing-wise, Luna would have had time to get it into the dome while you were doing that.
I'm gonna kick the guard Drake for no reason. Kill.
Do I get in the nice warm dome and experience proper warmth for the first time, or do I sit
Is
on the cart with Kruak?
That's
Is
sitting on the
Crocs
cart.
is Croc sitting on the cart?
No,
Okay.
Oh,
way too far away from everybody else. It's insane.
yeah. Okay, sure.
It's almost like running in and then trying to charm a fucking orc.
Okay, so everyone's getting in the dome then?
Get in the dome.
Absolutely.
Everyone's designated. Everyone can get in the dome if they want to.
Okay.
That's
So
Al. Al can't get in the dome. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm
Ow,
kidding.
my head. Wait, it's not working.
okay, so everyone gets into the dome. As mentioned, this is a temperature controlled climate. This is the first warm room a lot of you have been in recent memory. For some of you, ever.
Yep.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like the
Rock
horse
is
could fit
confused.
if we move to the outside.
I don't bring the body in here.
I
But-
think only medium creatures can go in the dome as rules is written.
I mean, objects can enter the dome. So, like, if you were to pick up a rock and carry it into the dome, you could. A body is technically an object.
You're telling me Luna can't fit into the dome because she's not a medium creature?
I believe it says medium or smaller, but
Luna can absolutely fit into the dome.
No,
sorry,
too
Luna,
small.
you're the loophole.
The problem with the dome is that, like, if the horse knew to lay down, it might be able to fit in the dome. There'd be no room for all of you squished in together.
Yeah.
But you could probably squish the horse into the dome if it knew how to lay down. Horses don't generally just lay down, and there's no real way to ask them.
It's almost like we would need
mean,
a
they do.
druid to talk with
You can.
animals.
I've seen plenty of horses laying down.
They do lay down, but it's difficult to tell a horse to lay down, and they don't often do it.
It's not like you can go up and cow tip them.
Horse tip.
I will eat a ration and give Luna a ration as we do with each fucking long rest. I
Everyone
know
that-
we have good berries, but they like to eat rations.
Yeah, I was going to say, everyone that wants to eat a ration can, but it's not required because of Croc giving out good berries earlier in the day.
Warm weather, we're not gonna eat magic food. We can eat real food. Come on.
Yes, so take your fingers away from those long rest buttons just now. What are you guys doing? Are you guys doing a watch rotation to see if these orcs are going to come by, or are you guys just
Yes.
sleeping?
Our
Wait.
watch rotation is Croc just watches
Yeah.
and we all sleep.
Yeah, if you guys are happy to leave me with one of the owls, I can just watch all night.
Yeah, John will leave an
Maybe.
owl for you.
Do we want to actually put an owl on the cart? Question mark.
That's a good idea.
That's a good idea.
I don't save because I don't know the Find Familiar spell and how it works.
No, but you have seen friends.
Yeah, yeah.
Vren
Oh.
will bamf out his owl and ask it to go sit on the cart, and it is a snowy owl, so it blends in quite well.
Cool. Yeah, Croc's just like, put your heads down, get some sleep.
You didn't even have to tell John he's already passed out.
He cast the spell and just collapsed.
He
Anything
feels
Croc
great.
cast the spell, put an owl in Croc's hands, and just went face first into his.
It's dangerous to go alone. Take this, hands you an owl, and fucks right
Nice.
off out of unconsciousness.
Splat.
Before we sleep, I'll look to Tusks and go, okay, if anything happens where we're going to fight, you kick me awake. You don't wake me up, you kick me awake. That's how I wake up into action.
Kick you really hard on the ribs. Not a problem. You got it.
You know, that will do it just fine.
Also, in case it becomes important later, I'm using the extended spell meta magic to make the dome last 16 hours instead of 8.
Oh.
Okay, so you have a 16-hour dome, so if anything goes wrong, you've still got plenty of dome for rest time.
Yes.
Lehman's extended sausage grate. Got it.
Lehman's
Lehman's
extended
perpetual
stroganoff.
I'm gonna point, I'm gonna get in the Gardrig's face and point at the ground and tell him to sleep or lay down, whichever one in Draconic, whichever one I've heard other people use.
Make me an animal handling check.
Perfect. I can do this.
Yes, you can.
Oh,
Yes. Yes, you can.
yes, I can.
The guard drake looks confused, as its initial reaction prompted by use of this word would be to jump into your lap and snuggle down. You are way too small for that, so you end up getting, like, bodied by a guard drake that kind of takes you to the ground and then curls around you and settles. And you are now kind of squished into a little guard drake bed.
Al,
What?
are you okay if I sleep with the guard drake tonight? Are you gonna be okay?
Kind of offended. What the fuck? Do you think? I'm getting ready to wake up for a fight. Leave me alone.
I just want to make sure you'll be okay, you know? I don't want you to miss me or anything.
Okay, you value yourself way too highly. Calm down. I know you're a bucket healer. You're a good person, but like, chill.
Okay.
The
you'll
guard
be okay.
drake's face, by the way, is encrusted with blood. Like, it's a white creature, and its entire lower jaw and like muzzle is just covered in gore.
I prestidigitation it.
Yeah, now that you mention that, are you going to be okay?
I'll be okay.
If it eats you, I will rip it.
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't know, in half or whatever the fuck it says. I don't know words. I need to sleep.
While all that's going on, John flicks an eye open, vaguely remembering that Krok's armor is fucked, and is going to cast Mending a bunch of times to fix the armor.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, mending takes a minute to cast each time.
It's okay.
Yeah,
you
we're up. We're
Is
not
this
happy.
before or after or during his pass out?
This is
you
like
fixed
in the middle
armor
of.
last session.
Oh, did we fix it last session?
You fixed it last session.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember that.
Okay.
And the crystal did a number on you. Fuck. You.
John's like having nightmares of having to mend that thing. He's like
having a good
casting it
time.
in his sleep.
You can hear John in his like passed out state mumbling the words to the mending cantrip, which has Vren looking down at him going, "Poor man."
Aw.
Fucking nightmares about crits.
Okay, so here's what happens. Several hours do indeed pass, and it's actually possible that
Sorry,
you
please,
guys get the
can you-
full...
Can you tell me exactly how many hours?
I will in a moment, because
Okay.
that's not up to me. So it is possible that you guys get the full rest in before these orcs get back. I'm going to give you that incredibly unlikely possibility. Who wants to be nominated to roll this D8?
Not it.
D8.
Hear me
Mhm.
out. This is like Niles' specialty.
What?
He's rolled the most damage so far. Think about it. He always rolls max damage on his fucking sword.
He also is terrible at stealth, and he's a stealth-based character.
I did okay at stealth last session.
This
Right.
isn't really a stealth roll, though.
Okay, you know what?
It's not a stealth roll. I'm going to tell you what this guy's is. This is a D8 roll, and it's the amount of hours it takes for the orcs to come back.
Oh, it's fucked anyway. Okay.
Go in once, go in
So
twice.
if you
Yeah,
roll
sure.
an 8, you get the full rest in before they get to you. If you roll anything less than that, they get back
that.
before you get your
Do
full
it,
long
Sleepy.
rest.
Give me that lucky number 8. Ah, it's
Yeah.
not as bad.
Almost.
That's good. It's good.
Okay, so the amount of hours I'm giving you, Karak, is 6.
Great, I got a long rest.
Yay.
Yeah,
Did we all get a long rest?
No, I believe Karak gets a long rest because they get a long
Oh,
rest
fuck.
in less than 8
Right.
hours. You guys are 2 hours away from a long rest.
Why must
They got the
I
elf
cry?
mastery.
Listen, it's fine.
The only thing I'm getting back on a long rest is hit die anyway. I'm fine.
I mean, I could use some hit points.
You're fine.
I could use some everything.
Yeah, same.
You're fine.
Nah.
So, here's what happens, Karak.
How is
You see the orc camp, like, the orcs are coming back into the camp and checking through tents. None of them necessarily, it's dark at this point, so none of them necessarily look at where you guys are resting and immediately start rushing over, but they're in the camp. You can wake everyone up now, or you can see how this plays out. What are you going to do?
So, quick question first of all. Did they just go past all of the heads impaled on javelins?
Yes.
Cool. I was
Did
just
they,
waiting
like-
for the moment.
They,
Did
in
they not,
fact,
like, bat an eye, or
they're not great at this, so you don't know if you've seen them all, but it looks like they're trying to sneak into camp.
Oh.
Mm.
When that realization dawns, Croc is like, oh, that's embarrassing for them. So yeah, I'm just gonna wait and see for the moment, because
Okay.
We're safe.
How long do you wait for?
2 hours.
I mean, I guess I just wait and watch them, and it's just based on what they do.
Okay, from the angle that you see a few orcs. Let's just put them, the ones that you can see on the battle map. But you can see a couple of orcs sneaking, like, close up to the campfire. You hear the sound of tents, like, being opened, entered, rifled through in general, but you can't see those orcs from your position because they're much deeper into the camp. Not all of them have come in from just one direction. They appear to have got to the camp, noticed the heads on spikes, surrounded the camp, and then come in all at once.
Gotcha.
So a couple moved past your position, but other things are happening. So you're still just waiting and watching?
Man, this situation is pretty tense.
Fuck you.
And that joke is punctuated by the sound of a very frantic horse trying to bolt out of a tent and then falling very quickly silent.
Aw.
Nope. Okay. Okay, so that has happened.
It has.
Um.
No.
Uh. Hmm.
Oops.
There was suspension of disbelief until you put an X on it.
I'm sorry, but your disbelief had not been suspended long enough.
Sad.
is it just Croc awake right now, or
At the
is
moment, yeah.
it? Okay.
Yeah, you guys are sleeping to get the benefits of a long rest. It's just Karak that is...
Technically, it's been
Yeah.
6 hours, so you can have 2 hours of light activity. So you could be sort of roused, just not
Right.
doing anything.
But until those 2 hours of light activity finish, you're not getting the benefits. And if you do anything strenuous like enter combat,
Yeah.
you've got to start all over again.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, the horse is dead. There's not much we can do about that. I think Kruak is going to very gently shake the night away.
Okay.
What's wrong?
Kruak's going to say, there are orcs in the camp.
Shit.
Yeah. We're safe for the moment. Had a thought. Wanted to run it by you.
Go ahead.
Obviously, I speak their language.
Okay.
What if I convince them that what happened here was divine retribution from Tiamat for their failure?
No failure in what? You want to be careful with that.
True.
Last thing we need is an angry tribe of orcs becoming zealots.
How much did John share about what was in the books?
Not a fucking thing.
Not a thing, because I believe John learned what was in the books, then touched the orb, then put up this, and then passed out.
No. You
And
missed the
nobody
part where
asked.
he giggled like a madman.
There was that, but Krog was impaling heads on sticks at the time, so...
Yeah, and giggling like a madman doesn't actually translate any information.
Especially with John, because he's a little unhinged as it is.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's still needing to, to sleep, so... But I figured you're the one that, you don't need magic. You just need shadows. I figured you were the most sensible one to wake up.
That's fair. How long of like darkness do we have? Because I remember it was like about midnight when the attack went on, and it's been 6 hours, right? Right?
Sure, so around 6 a.m.
I mean, the sun will be rising in like an hour or two. You remember, because of the ever-present winter, the sun does rise a bit later. Why was you thinking?
I mean, if needs be, I can get up and go for action right now.
I was thinking you and I could probably go, but I don't know how many of them are in the camp.
You guys hear John mumble, "You can always come back to the dome if you get overwhelmed."
That's true. Well, we've got winged scouts. We could.
For the element
Vren, could
supplies.
you?
Well, we'd need to wake Vren up. I only woke you up, and John is.
Oh. I kind of shake his leg with my boot, Vren.
Make me a dexterity saving throw.
Dexterity saving throw, fucking
Yeah.
hell. Is he gonna sweep me?
You shake his leg, and Vren pops his eyes open and flicks a dagger towards you immediately, and to the end of your nose before he really realizes what's going on. It's like, oh,
can I catch you with my own dagger?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You're pretty quick on the reflexes, but he was very jumpy being
Okay.
woken up like that.
Hey, everybody calm down.
Yeah, there are better targets for that. And I point at some orcs I can see, I guess, if there are any.
Krog just fills Ren in.
Yeah. Could you use your bird your owl, to just check how many have entered the camp? They seem to have come in from multiple angles.
Oh, all right. And Vren will communicate with his owl, who is gonna just take to the air and start scouting around the camp. And Vren's eyes glaze over, but he is gonna whisper out loud, "Well, there's a fair few of them. It looks like a few have gone into tents, so I can't see how many, but I'm thinking maybe 10?
That's about right. A 10 might be a little much for just me and you, Croc. Especially with the sun not too far from the horizon.
My problem is that if we wake everybody else up, that's gonna seriously hamper their ability to recuperate.
Well, I believe that there is strength in numbers, and that would outweigh any advantage you would get from striking in the dark, so I say we wait.
Did John explain that he extended this spell, or did you just explain that to me as the DM, Basker?
I don't know that anyone else besides maybe Vren would know that it only lasted 8 hours.
Hey.
I asked, and you mentioned it's
Yeah.
8, but you could make it 16.
So then, yeah, probably.
Okay, so you mentioned that the duration is 16 hours.
Yeah.
In that case, Okay, there's two options then. We either don't attack at all, or we attack, and then there should be long enough to come back to the dome and wait out the rest of the rest.
That
It,
is
it won't
true.
take 2 hours. I think the entire attack on this camp took less than a minute last time. And
Right,
that was
but
involving Tanaruk.
it's strenuous activity, which resets the duration of a rest.
Oh, yeah.
Well, if these people aren't gonna bounce back immediately afterwards, then we're basically sacrificing, a
What,
minute
6
of
hours?
well, 6 hours for a minute of combat in
But if
very
this is
game terms.
if this is the last of them, then I don't know. What if we wake everybody else up?
So, question.
Tell-
To who?
Let's say the class, but mostly to Blaze. In the rules for resting, it says at least 1 hour of walking, fighting, casting spells, or similar adventuring activity.
What do you mean?
For strenuous activity to break a rest. Is that 1 hour Note.
Hold on.
added into the rest of the clause?
Character sleeps for at least 6 hours, which you have done, performs no more than 2 hours of light activity.
The rest is interrupted by a period of strenuous activity, at least 1 hour of walking, fighting, casting spells, or similar adventuring ability. The characters must begin the rest again to gain any benefit from it.
Yeah, then I guess if you finish this fight within an hour and get back to rest, you can finish it. You can finish the rest in 2 hours.
Does fighting count as light activity within the hour?
No, this is talking about
Because it gave a time limit of if you're at least an hour of strenuous activity, then your rest is broken.
yeah. So if you do under an hour of strenuous activity, your rest isn't broken.
By the way, just as a side note, because this might help decide, my character, I'm way better off than I thought I was, so that's a note. I'm more.
Yeah. Have you changed your stats on your sheet already?
I put the Moxie points back, but not the HP because I wanted to point it out first.
Okay. Well,
There we go.
yeah, we discussed it and figured out that it was due to Luna's healing that his HP was so high. So I shouldn't have taken it away in the first place, but I didn't remember from last session.
Okay. Rock is going to very gently wake up Luna and Al, so that everybody's now awake.
Al, you specifically don't get kicked in the ribs.
I don't wake up screaming and punching. Cool.
Exactly. And Krak is going to catch those two up on, orcs in the camp, etc. And Krak is going to say, just throwing this idea out there. What if me and the knight tried to kill as many as we can? If we're starting to get overwhelmed, you guys jump out and pitch in.
But if they haven't found this, why can't we just sleep?
We could. They might leave.
Why
Yeah,
just
but
you
this-
and the knight?
Just so you guys don't get out.
I feel like we've tried this exact same plan, but with the knight and John before.
Yeah, but
Yep.
John was invisible and couldn't talk to the knight, and the knight decided to move.
And nobody could talk to orcs. I can. Just
That was 30 feet to the right of where we're sitting right now.
50 feet, but yes.
I was thinking that I might be able to convince them that they've done something to anger Tiamat or Lord Freezer, and the dragon cultists did this to them.
So we're not fighting them?
Well, exploring alternatives.
I
think that-
maybe the suggestion is convincing Plan A fighting Plan B.
Yeah, let me pop out and have a chat.
I
If anybody
think
has
that
any good ideas as to why they might have pissed Tiamat off, feel free to share them.
Either way, I can't leave the dome, and I can't cast spells. Does anyone
I'm-
leave me with like a crossbow or something, so I can at least like help you if fighting becomes the option?
I've got a short bow or a crossbow you can choose.
I'd rather the crossbow.
I will hand you the crossbow.
Thank you.
It's a light crossbow.
What was Luna trying to say?
And I'll give you 20 bolts. Let me mark them off, sorry.
Thank you.
I'm not really gonna be able to fight very much if we get into a fight.
Okay,
Do we know how many are there and where?
Vren reckons in about the 10 ballpark, but they seem to be spread over the camp. So if me and the knight hit fast and hard, we might be able to, take them in small groups.
Wait, are you talking to them or are you fighting them? Make up your mind.
I'm gonna try talking first, and then if it doesn't work, killing them.
I'm a little dubious about your plan of convincing them they've not done enough a good enough job. Or they've
Also,
angered Tiamat, because that might just persuade them to go further for the cause,
And-
if you know what I mean.
if we start talking, there's not gonna be a chance to hit fast and hard.
Mhm.
Okay, I'll just kill them then.
I think that's the best plan.
And if it looks bad, Al can come out swinging with Lucille. John can snipe from the tent. Ren, are you able to kind of stick your head at the dome and shoot firebolts at folk?
Yes, I believe I can accomplish that.
Okay. Yeah, bash then. What do you say?
John's gonna lean over to Vren and indicate the orb on the end of his staff. Vren, if you're feeling spicy, I was able to trade most of my life force, but it gave me back all of my spell slots.
Buck is just shaking the head emphatically behind John while maintaining eye contact with Ren.
Bren looks to the orb and like cracks his knuckles and is like, I think I've done just fine up to now. I'm sure we'll be able to take on the orbs without resorting to that.
The option stands. If we get in a tight spot.
Can
You know,
Can I-
I'm just going to suggest you don't use the orb again, at least for today.
Ren, would you be able to point out which tents the orcs might be in?
I just saw the ones that were roaming the camp. I didn't see which tents they went into. I said I thought they were hiding in tents.
I see. Okay, well, sure. Well, I'll sneak out into the bush, in this way. Do you want to stay here, Grok? I could put a few arrows downrange from behind some of those tents over there. And you can hit from up this way when they're drawn out.
That's like a good plan to me.
Let's put it into motion then, come on. And
Right.
we will go and do the plan.
Yeah.
Can I
Crap.
fly over to John
Uh,
and
sure. Make me a strength check first, or athletics.
He's fucking grappled by a guard drake.
Snuggled,
wait, a
but yeah.
strength
Yeah.
check or saving throw? Isn't that the same thing?
Snuggle.
Check, not a saving throw. You are being, yeah, okay. You are strong enough to pry yourself free of the guard drake snuggle to be able to go do that.
How many spell slots does it give you back?
All of them.
No.
I'm gonna touch the
No.
orb.
You're gonna touch the orb. Make me a Constitution saving throw.
I can't keep
I was
L
gonna
alive
say-
otherwise.
This all.
As Luna reaches out for the
Damn.
orb, so she has the information, be like, you can brace, but don't resist. Don't run.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm going to give you the same analogy as before. You've cast a lot of magic, and magic is very intuitive to you, so you can feel that this is magic trying to flow into you. How much of it do you allow?
Oh no. Do you want the roleplay answer or the player character answer?
I want the roleplay answer.
Always the roleplay answer.
All of it. Luna would do all of it.
All of it. Excellent. Okay.
Yep. Getting that cure wounds ready.
Perfect. Another 18. So you take 18 damage.
I think do that.
Magical
take-
cocaine.
You get half of that back as temporary hit points. You
Oh.
regain all of your spell slots,
Big
and
focus.
you gain 3 third level spells on top of that. And for the next let's put a cap on it. Let's say minute. You have infinity sorcery points.
Wait, I get all my spell slots and three level spells?
Yes, 3 third level spells and infinity sorcery points.
Oh man, I only got two third level spells.
Yes,
Because you tried to
you.
fight it.
Yes, you braced. Luna let all of it in. And Luna is currently just buzzing with this, like, sickly green energy.
Yeah, like when that happens, it's like, woo.
Yeah, your wings went from fluttering to hummingbird.
That's good stuff.
Grog just shares a look with Ren
I'm like trembling. I'm like vibrating.
Yep.
and gives the knight a nod to set it off.
I've got a staff of spellcaster cocaine.
Bren is looking at the orb and is, like, disgusted, but also intrigued. Like, he wants to touch it to know what this is about, but also he doesn't want to touch it because that looks like a bad time.
You know
He's
what that is?
looking
Like
at he's looking at it like an ex-girlfriend right now. That's what he's doing.
that right
Oh,
there is
we've
cast the
danced
sugar.
dance.
Wait.
Sorry, I didn't hear either of you. What did you say first, Sleepy?
I said that it was cast to sugar, and that's a really funny joke, and people should laugh at that.
That was actually pretty good.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
And Basker, what did you say?
I don't recall.
Excellent,
Okay.
perfect.
I
Staff is in-
You what?
John
Luna?
still looks like shit, right?
Yes.
Well, now
I'm
you look
gonna-
like shit too.
Jump off the staff and I'm gonna tap him on the nose and give us both a level 3 cure wounds.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
wow.
makes a lot of sense.
Oof, that's rough.
My rolls always suck.
So that's 11 hit points each.
Oh, that feels pretty good right now.
I think
Color floods back into John.
So you both took 18 damage from this and gained temporary hit points, but then gained 11 hit points back. So you're really up
More
on this
positive.
equation right now.
Especially because we got all those spells back.
Mhm.
The power of necromancy. Oh no, this is the dark side of the force. I'm fucking Darth Vader.
Oh no, why would I as the DM do that to you guys?
Why would you do that to me specifically? You know I can't resist.
Krog is going to sneak out of the dome as well and attempt to make it to here.
Okay. And again, I'm not going to make you make stealth checks until I think something might notice you.
Yep.
So
Yeah. Move up to there.
the guard Drake has kind of noticed that you're all awake now.
Yeah.
Are you guys just staying in the tent? Oh, sorry. Are most of you staying in the dome, and Croc and the Knight are going on this stealth mission?
Believe that is the plan.
Okay. So when the Knight moves there, I'd like Croc and the Knight to both make me a stealth check.
You got
Come
it.
on, expertise. Not bad.
19 and a 16. Okay. And now make me perception checks.
Come on, not expertise. That's not bad.
Okay, Knight, you can hear that there are orcs in both tents nearby you. Croc, you hear nothing.
Okay.
In fact, you just hear the crackling of the fire in the center of the camp. That's all you can really hear.
Yep. I am waiting for the night signal.
For
Okay.
the Knight, what are you doing?
I mean, it is very tempting just to shoot and then hide.
Hmm. You do see two orcs having a discussion over there.
Because then they're not going to know what hit him. That's the critical thinking going on in my brain right now.
What could go wrong?
And then even if there are guys in this tent, then
Mm-hmm.
they're going to
Indeed,
come out and be like, huh?
what could possibly go wrong?
Yeah.